Alright, what's going on, guys? There has been a ton of news going on the past few days regarding the next Fromsoftware game after Elden Ring. Now, if you guys watch the channel regularly, then you know I just put up a video a few days ago breaking down all the possibilities of what the next game could be. And of course, the one thing I totally forgot about and completely neglected to mention is exactly what apparently leaked, and that is a new Armored Core game. Now, we're going to break down everything there is to this leak because it's a lot, and I'm also going to fill you in on exactly what Armored Core is, because if you're like me, I know absolutely nothing about Armored Core. At least I didn't until about 2 hours ago, but I'll get you up to speed and we're going to dive into this. But as always, before we get into that, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. This channel is your one-stop shop for all things Elden Ring and Fromsoftware. But with that out of the way, let me tell you a little bit about Armored Core. The Armored Core games are one of Fromsoftware's first IPs. They're third-person action games where you pilot these mechs known as Armored Cores. Now, I've never played these games, but I did play a lot of the old Gundam games back in the day, and I imagine just based off the way it looks, they probably play similar to those. But those of you that have played the Armored Core games, let us know down in the comments what it's like. Now, as for the story and everything, the games revolve around you being a mercenary for these different corporations and factions, set in these dystopian sci-fi worlds. Now, that is the most basic and surface level synopsis I can give you, but for those of you pure Souls fans, this is going to be very different than what you're used to. But now that you're caught up to speed at least a little bit, let's go ahead and look at the leaks that just happened over on Reset Era. There have been a lot of leaks surrounding a new Armored Core game for quite some time now, but none of them have really been solid. Back in 2016, it was reported that Fromsoftware had 3 games in development. We know that 2 of those turned out to be Sekiro and Elden Ring, but Miyazaki himself hinted that the new game that they were working on, the third one, was going to be a reboot of some sort, and the most obvious contender for that was Armored Core. Since then, it's only been whispers, but 2 days ago an insider over on Reset Era posted that he'd received a consumer survey talking about feedback on a new Armored Core game. And with that survey came images, a description, and a gameplay video of what appears to be the next installment in the series. Now, he did not provide the gameplay video, but he did show the description and the images of the game. Now, I have not been able to verify the legitimacy of this leaker, but based on what you guys have told me, apparently he is credible. But now let's get into the things he provided. The description begins with this: melange, an unknown substance that could dramatically advance human society. In the past, this substance caused a cosmic catastrophe on planet Bashtar that engulfed the surrounding star systems, and eventually its very existence was lost. Decades later, the melange reaction was confirmed again on planet Bashtar. In search of the unknown substance that should have been lost, various speculations begin to swirl. Various parties are getting involved: the government, corporations, cultists, and unknown mercenaries. The protagonist is one of them. The game is a third-person shooter mecha action title that lets you move around an overwhelmingly scaled map that represents a unique sci-fi world with dynamic mech action. You will face strong enemies and fierce battles both long and short range using guns and blades. The sci-fi world created by Hidetaka Miyazaki. Fromsoftware's unique and deep sci-fi worldview and multi-layered story. Set on the planet Bashtar, a sci-fi world devastated by a planet-wide disaster with an overwhelming sense of scale that only mecha can provide. A vast field that represents a multi-layered world. In a massive and three-dimensional map, you can feel the scale of the mecha universe. A wide variety of maps offer an array of challenging enemies and carefully crafted situations that are worth taking on again and again. Feel the tension in long and short range battles. This game offers not only long range combat with guns, but also short range combat elements such as blade and shield that add a sense of urgency to gameplay. Decide between offensive or defensive tactics during tense and challenging battles against powerful enemies. Three-dimensional dynamic action. The game's dynamic three-dimensional movement is something no human can imitate. You can move freely around the vast map with the unique mobility of a mech. And the final description reads, high degree of freedom and customization. Reconfigure body parts and weapons in order to upgrade your mech. With a high level of customization, you can build a mech to suit your playstyle. From a build that focuses on close range combat and mobility, or a build that emphasizes firepower to wipe out swarms of enemies at once. Now, to me, that sounds like an awesome game. I haven't played a mech game since all the way back in the day on the GameCube, and honestly I think it's time to get back into it. But the leaker also provided some images that we'll take a look at now. Unfortunately, these images were not sent in single format, so I can't zoom in on them and show you them one by one. And he did say they were heavily watermarked, and the kind of scribbles you see on the pictures there were his way of trying to clean those up. But these images look legit. They definitely carry that same vibe as the past Armored Core games, and so far nobody's come out and said that any of these images were taken from any external sources. So it's definitely seeming like this leak is legit. Now there were 4 pages of these 2x2 images, so if somehow this was a fake leak, it'd definitely be one of the best I've seen. But I'm really liking the look of this. Even based off these tiny images, you can definitely tell the graphical improvement over the past Armored Core games. Now like I said at the beginning of the video, I've never played an Armored Core game before, so those of you that have, definitely let us know your thoughts down below, and let us know what you think about it as a Souls fan, because this game is going to be vastly different than what we're typically accustomed to from a FromSoftware game. I think Elden Ring is going to give us more than enough to hold us over until the next Souls-like, so honestly I welcome the change. I think it'll be great to get back into the groove of the game style I grew up on, and see what Miyazaki can do in a sci-fi setting, and how the gameplay can turn out in something that isn't necessarily their magnum opus. Now if I had to give a release window for when I think this will come out, this game definitely isn't going to receive the same hype level as Elden Ring, and we really don't have as much insight into the development process, and technically we don't know how far along they are with it, but I don't think early 2023 would be a bad guess. Either way though, I'm excited to learn more about this, and I hope the leaker decides to give us a look into that gameplay preview, because that is definitely what a lot of people are wanting to see. Anyways though guys, I think that's going to pretty much do it for the video. If you're excited for a new Armored Core, definitely leave a like on the video, and let me know down below how you feel about this change of gameplay style. I know they've been making them for a long time, but a lot of FromSoftware fans are here from Dark Souls, myself included, so it's going to be a big change. But besides that, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll catch you in the next one.